Hello. It's snowing. Yeah, so I live in Huff. It's an acronym, H-U-F-F. It started off with H. H, where, U, the, F, sun, the other F, don't shine. Because it's just that. It's where the sun don't shine. When everyone leaves Huff, or Curry, we call it chasing the sun. Because there's this giant mountain right here that blocks the sun. We don't get any sunlight in the wintertime, like ever. There's not one, maybe early morning, we get a glimpse. It's a little glimpse of the sun, and then it just goes right behind that mountain, and that's it. We're in darkness.
Actually, Huff stands for Housing Under Firefall. A tradition that lasted for almost 100 years, guests from all over would come to Yosemite specifically to witness burning embers being pushed off of Glacier Point, creating what appeared to be a giant stream of fire falling 3,000 feet to the valley floor. This tradition ended in the late 1960s when the National Park Service deemed that the event's massive turnout was destroying the natural habitat of Yosemite. To add to that piece of history, on the area where the embers of the famous firefall were pushed over, a Grand Hotel used to serve up to 200 guests at a time. Completed in 1917, guests had an amazing view of the famous Half Dome, Bernal, and Nevada Falls at an angle only seen by the guests and hikers who would go up there to Glacier Point. Wilson from 1922 stated, "There may have never been a better balcony view than the one from the Glacier Point Hotel." Sadly, on the same year which the firefall tradition ended in 1968, the Glacier Point Hotel was completely destroyed by an electrical fire that summer.
So there, two pieces of history of Yosemite. And even though the National Park has put an end to the firefall, its name and its history still lives on. Unlike what's happening in current matters, with NPS's decision to change the names of historic buildings and sites because of a legal dispute with DNC. Or is that a bold statement? Even if the names do change, does its history vanish? Will we forget what happened here at the Iwani? That it has been open to the public since 1927? That it has been named after the tribes that were living here before we have? I don't think so. Not to condone the lawsuit in itself and the name changes. I don't want to talk about it too much because I do still work for DNC and well, I can lose my job. But to go over the situation briefly, DNC has filed a lawsuit against the National Park Service because the National Park Service will not force Aramark, the new company to take over, to buy the intellectual property that DNC was forced to buy however many years back. Intellectual property meaning, for example, the Iwani trademark name. The Iwani, sadly, is a trademark, meaning that people don't own it, corporations do. Also, DNC is claiming that with inflation, the intellectual property alone is worth $51 million. NPS, however, stating that it's only worth $3.1 million. Obviously, that's a huge disagreement. But if inflation really is the argument, where should the working class's minimum wage be right now? $15? $16? Who makes those decisions? But that's neither here nor there. I myself, along with many other quiet Americans, are finding corporations disgusting and unproductive. Though for my sake, because I love it here, I need to stop talking. But whatever happens as a result of empty bureaucracy and meaningless monetary gain, I can assure all of you that Yosemite will still be here. And though some of the names might change, their history has already been written. The valley, along with all its granite walls, will be here long after we're gone. What people experience here is far more important and much more powerful than this childish bickering that's only going to improve short-term monetary gain. A rose is still a rose. My name is Eric, and this has been Eye of the Yosemite. There's a squirrel eating a pine cone right above my head right now. Fucking shit, man.